Hello, everyone. Thank you, Princess. That was amazing. As she said, my name is Armando Hernandez Jr. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Before we get things started, I first want to thank the Human Rights Campaign for putting together this amazing conference each year. I also want to thank all of you lovely people for being here today. Thank you all for contributing to the mission of HRC. Whether you're advocating through your professional role, through social media, volunteering, or conversations with other LGBTQ youth, you just know that HRC appreciates you, and so does the LGBTQ community. This year is my first year as a youth ambassador, so I just want to introduce myself, and I thought it would be a great idea for you all to know a little bit more about me and my coming out experience. From a very young age, I'd always known that I wasn't like other kids. And by middle school, I had come out to a few of my friends and came to realize that many of my friends were supportive. But, there's always those friends who are not as supportive. It still felt so freeing and exhilarating to know that I had people I could be myself around. And unfortunately, not long after I had come out, gossip had traveled around and throughout my school. And soon it felt like everyone had known my LGBTQ identity before I was ready. I was terrified, I was afraid, I felt exposed and betrayed, and I felt like everything in my life had begun to change quickly. Some friends began to distance themselves, and others began to bully me. The constant whispering behind my back, aggressive shoving, and excessive name-calling lasted for weeks. Needless to say, I had become depressed, and I knew I needed help. Soon afterward, I had come out to my mom. I remember sitting next to her while we were watching our favorite TV show, and I said, "Mom, I need to tell you something." I had always had a feeling she knew, or at least questioned, whether I was LGBT. But for some reason, the words could not come out of my mouth. I sobbed at her side for minutes, and she held me, and she kept saying, "What's wrong, boy? Tell me." And I finally yelled, "Mom, I'm gay." Feeling shame, I put my head down and continued to sob. What felt like 5 minutes of complete silence was only 1 minute, and I could only imagine what was going through her head. My son, gay? Am I the reason he's like this? This is all my fault. These thoughts consumed my mind as I desperately waited for her response. My heart had sunk as I waited for her to say something, anything at all. But she said nothing. That was the night my mom had decided to see me as a burden. Every moment afterward felt as if she was trying to change me, make me feel like I had chosen this path, and as if God could help change me to what she believed was normal. Although my relationship with my mom had changed drastically, a part of me was still relieved, just knowing that she had known a deep secret of mine that I had kept for a long time. This crucial part of me was very important, and telling her felt as if a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And soon after sharing my secret, I began to share the news with the rest of my family. Many of them were surprised, but luckily, they were all supportive. Since my coming out back in 2014, a lot of things have changed for me. Relationships, career goals, friend groups. I've even made peace with a few of those who bullied me. And most importantly, my mother and I have reached a place of peace within our relationship. I can confidently say she finally accepts me for who I am today. Although it didn't happen overnight, It did take time, and together, we've encouraged one another to continue breaking boundaries and to pursue our callings in life. I continue to amaze myself as I stride through obstacles that I could never see myself accomplishing. Today, I'm a first-generation college student at Arizona State, where I am privileged to study, what I'm passionate about. I'm privileged to be in a country where I'm able to fight for my human rights as a gay Latino. I'm privileged to be here on this stage and share my story with you. We are all privileged to be here today and represent a piece of our movement for a more just and peaceful world. Whether you're an ally or member of the LGBTQ plus community, you are here today because you care about young people. You are the educators who can make a difference for the teen who is being bullied, the counselor who can help ease the pain of a young person who is facing family rejection, or the administrator who can mandate that all school staff get trained on supporting LGBTQ plus students. If I would have known 6 years ago that all of you had my back, that there were folks like you willing to stand up for me, to affirm me, to help navigate through my difficult peer relationships, it would have made such a big difference, and it would have helped to maintain hope and strength during those darkest days. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being there for young people like me. Your support really does make lasting and meaningful impressions. Before I leave you all today, I would like to share one last thought with you. I've always wondered if I were to travel back in time 6 years ago and give one piece of advice to my younger self, what would it be? Well, it would be to live authentically and shamelessly, and to inspire others through the power of their unique stories. So I tell you today, help empower youth to use their voices, to share their stories, and advocate for change. There is power in what they have to say. Remind them to hold their heads high and aim for the stars, and to continue breaking barriers for not only themselves, but others. Thank you all, and have an amazing rest of your night.